Good news and bad news for Japan's economy. They still face challenges. The good news is, well, it was better than forecasted. The bad news is it shrank 7% last quarter, at least the GDP did, and that is the worst performance since the 2011 earthquake and tsunami that devastated Japan. Mike Firn reports from Tokyo.
The world's third biggest economy got smaller in the April to June quarter. Faced with a 3 percentage point rise in VAT, Japanese shoppers decided to spend less. Household consumption fell 19.2% from the first quarter, more than wiping out the benefits of higher spending before the sales tax hike. The government says it's a blip, with more recent data pointing to a moderate recovery.
It is important to look at the economic trend as a whole and not get carried away by the fluctuations of a spike due to last-minute demand and the subsequent downward reaction, which an increase in sales tax will bring.
Weak domestic demand also led to a plunge in imports, down an annualized 20.5% in the second quarter. And a weaker yen isn't helping Japanese companies offset the drop in domestic demand by raising sales overseas. Exports were down 1.8%.
The yen is not going to help Japan's exporters gaining global market share anymore. And the reason is simple. Japanese companies have shifted to offshore production. You find of the car companies, for example, almost 80% of their production is now outside of Japan. So the arbitrage between yen costs and dollar revenues is no longer as prominent as it used to be.
The only bright spot was a 1.5% rise in government spending. But with the biggest debt burden in the industrialized world, the Abe administration can't afford to prop up the economy with public works projects. In fact, it needs to raise more funds, which is why it's planning another 2 percentage point rise in sales tax at the end of next year. Economists say the second quarter slump was probably the low point for the Japanese economy for the next few years at least, and they're forecasting a rebound in the current quarter of around 2 to 3%. Mike Firn, CCTV, Tokyo.